Welcome to Wall Street Confidential. I'm Farnoosh Sharabi with Jim Cramer. Our focus today turns to the definition of moral hazard. Jim, there have been a lot of people out there who've been criticizing the fact that we're coming up with ways to bail out these people who were way over in their heads.
We're definitely not bailing out anybody. What's happened is there's a twofold thing here. One is that the companies that do mortgage servicing don't have the ability to renegotiate every one of these contracts. Better to just do it en masse. With the government's help, so that the people who might fight this realize that they're fighting the government. But it's certainly no bailout. And then the other thing is that we need to slow down the process because we don't want the bank examiners to shut down all the banks, which they would if they. I mean, take a look at what Washington Mutual said. Washington Mutual is insolvent when I look at what they're doing. Now they're going to raise a couple $1 billion and they can tide them over until the Fed cuts, and then they'll start making a lot of money again. But we have to tide everything over. Or we just say, okay, look, let it all go. Screw those guys. The heck with them. They were stupid. Morgan sure stupid. But we got to write checks to the institutions that go under. We have to write, maybe we need to spend $500 billion bailing up Fannie and Freddie and the different mortgage insurers and the savings and loans. It really is pretty stark. Now, one of the reasons why I think that you don't hear it presented like that is and we do it on Wall Street Confidential, is it scares people. But, I mean, I look at these balance sheets. Now, I will put the usual caveats in. If the housing market got dramatically better, we wouldn't have any problems. I mean, it would be just terrific. If we started buying houses for whatever reason, there's no issue here. But if you want to make it so that we don't have to pay a lot more later, better to do this plan. That's why I think the plan is so smart.
And in terms of the Fed's involvement in...
But the Fed's got it. Look, I have no confidence in the Fed whatsoever. The Fed has been completely wrong. We've seen that time and again. They did that 1/2 point cut. That was very good, but then they thought they were done. We know that from October. I mean, the Fed is not... the Fed has become a group of guys who you have to really struggle with. And you can't... count on them. And that's okay, too. There's always been moments in history of investing where the Fed was a totally unbankable, to me, unfathomable institution. But, I mean, right now, I think the Fed is torn between doing what would certainly be the right thing and doing the right thing incrementally over time. And what I'm saying is the more time you waste, the worse it gets. That's very clear from what's going on. We got to make it so that if you were to put money with Washington Mutual in the big convertible, that you don't expect to just lose money and take a bath. Jim,
I really like it when you call the Fed individuals, a bunch of guys, women. They're people, and they get swayed. They're very fickle.
Yeah, I mean, like I know from my Federal Reserve context that my so-called YouTube rant had a lot, had some wake-up call. I think that, look, let's understand that it's very easy to do a quarter point. Because that doesn't shock anybody, and it doesn't make people feel that things are really bad. And it basically says, listen, we see what's happening. It's just that I see things snowballing. I've been seeing things snowballing since July. And there's no sense to have it continue to be in doubt. It doesn't make anything better. I don't see the real danger of a 1/2 point. I wish someone could explain to me the danger of a 1/2 point. A lot of people come on TV and say it's really unnecessary. But I look at those people and I say, okay, well, look, they obviously think housing's going to get better. They obviously think things are going to get better, and that's great. I don't want to have it be hope that things get better, because that's never really worked for me.
All right, we'll see how the Fed decides. Thanks a lot, Jim Cramer.
Thank you.
You're watching Wall Street Confidential on the Street.com TV. Only stay tuned.